YAHUAH. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. To all 12 tribes of Yasharal, wherever your feet are touching the four corners of this flat plain Aratz, otherwise known as earth, on this most kadush, this most separated yom. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to the elder brother, Yehuda, otherwise known as his covenant-keeping people, who in Revelation 14, it is written, will be taken from the time of trial and be placed on his Kadush mountain, otherwise known as Mount Tzyun. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to the younger brother, Ephraim, to the former stranger, the former foreigner, who are being formerly estranged from the everlasting covenant, but now whereby via the ruach of adoption has been grafted back into the olive tree, back into the everlasting covenant by way of Yahusha, our Messiah's impalement, and 6 hours being impaled upon the tree, on the 9th hour yielding up his breath, his ruach haKadosh, and shedding his redemptive dam, that we may now be redeemed into an everlasting covenant. With the requisite of us keeping his commandments, statutes, and judgments, us being obedient in the Torah, and as we're about to get into this video, us coming upon his altar continually as continual ascending burnt offerings. It's known that back in the days of Moshe, back in the Torah of Moshe, that they gave up bulls, burnt offerings, burnt sacrifices of bulls, of lambs, of clean and pure bulls and lambs, and other things as well. We now come to do that same thing spiritually. So Shabbat Shalom to you. This is Destination Tzyun Part 7, Continual Ascending Burnt Offerings. How we are to come as continual ascending burnt offerings to YAHUAH in this day. YAHUAH burning that spiritual fat, that carnal flesh, that it may rise up and be a sweet smelling savor to his nostrils. Now in a spiritual way, back then it was in a physical way, which only represented the spiritual. It taught Yasharal, all 12 tribes, of the spiritual nature of YAHUAH, and that he requires an ascending burnt offering, a sweet smelling savor. Us turning from the wicked path and unto a path everlasting, us following the way, truth, and life of our Messiah Yahusha, is that sweet smelling savor, is that continual ascending burnt offering. So Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to you. We're now in part 7 of this series, and I'm sure by now you guys are wondering who we are, who we eat spiritual bread are. This can be made known to you. We can tell you who we are by telling you who we are not. Who we are not. We are not first and foremost some church. Where if you do a cursory search in the word church, you will find the Greek etymology of the word church being the word kirki, or what some know as Circe. Now Circe or Kirke is the Greek goddess of sorcery and wine, who is known for getting men drunk and turning them into unclean things. The church, otherwise known as the beast system, otherwise known as Rome, that was founded on 7 hills, is indeed a representation of the Greek goddess Circe, which is where the word comes from. And just like the Greek goddess of sorcery and wine, Circe, the church does not make a distinction between the clean and the unclean, and is known for turning men and women into unclean things. This is who we are not. We are not some organization, some paid organization, what in America is known as a 501(c)(3). We are not some ministry, and we're not some camp. We simply are who we are, and that is YAHUAH's remnant, YAHUAH's ecclesia, YAHUAH's assembly in this end times. We are his remnant gathering, being scattered across the 4 corners of the Aratz, of the flat plain earth, which you may see we have here in a little frame, this flat plain earth. We are simply YAHUAH's remnant. We are striving to be made worthy of receiving the seal of the living Elohim, the living breath and the power of our Father, of the Ruach HaKadosh, our Father's breath, in which he indeed yielded up on the 9th hour. Just as he was impaled, so we have now been impaled, our old selves, the outer man, the physical man, and just as he yielded up his breath on the 9th hour, we have now been increased with that same breath, that same Ruach HaKadosh, and yielded up our old breaths, being made new, being made born from above, as it's spoken. And we are now on that journey, on the journey of destination Tzyun, to indeed be placed on that Kadosh mountain. So Shabbat Shalom to you from Eat Spiritual Bread, where we do just that. We eat spiritual bread. I am Alessandro Ban Yahuah, and this is my uncle Anzu Ban Yahuah.
As we say in Italian, buon sabato.
Buon sabato and Shabbat Shalom to you and to your entire house. To you and to your entire house. So as prefaced a little bit in our introduction just there, this is Destination Tzyun Part 7, Continual Ascending Burnt Offerings. Now, there's a common theme and idea around burnt offerings, that the practice of bringing burnt offerings to Yahuwah is done away with. This is because we no longer kill and sacrifice lambs or bulls or other clean animals on a physical altar to Yahuwah. We no longer do that. But that does not mean that the act of bringing continual burnt offerings to Yahuwah at his appointed times is done away with. In fact, it is quite the opposite. It should be done and made known of more than ever in this season.
Torah.
It's Torah, it's instruction that Yahuwah commanded and gave to us. We're going to read, it was commanded and given ever since the creation of man, ever since Adam and Kua, ever since Cain and Abel, ever since Abraham and Musha, and so on. Continual ascending burnt offerings have always been required before Yahuwah gave the command to slaughter bulls on an altar. It's always been a requirement, and still to this day is a requirement.
Yes.
As you heard me spoke of in the introduction, heard me speak of in the introduction, we now bring those same continual burnt offerings spiritually.
Offerings of thanksgivings, bulls of praises from our mouth. These are all offerings to Yahuwah. Even doing this is not sending burnt offering to Yahuwah. When we palal, when we watch things and read and just walk in righteousness, they are still continual sending burnt offerings.
That's correct. So if you're striving in this season in the way, truth, and life of our Father Yahuwah, our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, if you're striving in accordance with this word, if you're striving in accordance with this wonderful word, then you should have that overlying thought every second of the day, every second of every minute of every hour, that you are coming upon Yahuwah's altar as a continual burnt offering. Now, as we're going to read shortly, there are appointed times for this. The first being the 3rd hour of the day, otherwise known as the Shacryt offering. And the second being, well, there's actually 3. There's the Shacryt, which is the 3rd hour, 9 a.m. There is the Myncha, which is a gift praise offering, which is at 12 p.m. It's a shalom offering. That's simply acknowledging the shalom, the gift of everlasting life that our Creator has brought us. That is at 12 p.m., otherwise known as the 6th hour. And there is the Maarab offering. There is the Maarab offering, otherwise known as the afternoon offering, otherwise known as the evening offering, otherwise known as the 9th hour, 3 p.m. We're going to read about these appointed times and how they are made apparent throughout all of Scripture. But nevertheless, in everything we do from the moment we wake up to the moment we lay down, from the rising of the sun and to the going down of the same, we are continual burnt offerings to Yahuwah. In our physical labor, in our spiritual labor, in our acts of compassion and ahava, otherwise known as love, in our acts of continual praise to Yahuwah. Barak YAHUAH. Yahuwah, I'm so grateful for this. Yahuwah, that's amazing how you align this and that. Everything we do, whether it's the spiritual or the physical, is a continual ascending burnt offering from Yahuwah that rises up to the 7th Shamayim, where he sits in his hakal, in his throne, on his kasai, on his throne. Wait, is that throne? Kasai is throne.
Kasei is throne.
Well, yeah.
Hakal is temple.
Hakal is temple, Kasei is throne. He is in his temple, sitting on his throne, receiving these continual ascending burnt offerings. For the sake of this video not dragging out, we're going to now get into some precepts, line upon line, here a little, there a little. We're going to get into the word that is given to us that brings us the Dat Hukma Bina, otherwise known as the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in these burnt offerings.
I may just add, you may ask, what is those hours? Why the third hour, the sixth hour?
Yes.
So Alex will explain it later, but I'll just give introduction that when I discovered that a while ago, it was wonderful to discover this truth. And what hit me is it's an appointed time.
Yes.
It's like the
Most
first.
certainly.
It's probably the first, as the Shabbat is. It's an appointed time, and we'll see in Scripture where that has been. Though it's not in Leviticus, doesn't mean it's not there. It's there.
Correct.
You just have to have eyes to see. And ears
discernment.
to hear the word and see. But basically, the third hour is when Yahushua was impaled.
Yep.
All right. The sixth hour is when things turned darkness upon the earth.
Yep.
And the ninth hour is when he gave up his rock, his beat. He poured out his blood.
This is scripturally noted
3,
down.
6, and 9.
Yep.
And Yahuwah divided the 12 hours into
Perfectly.
3, 6, 9, and then the
12.
end of the day. 12.
Beautiful.
Perfection.
Praise the Lord.
And we'll see as we go on. That's basically what we're saying. That we stop. I stop on the third hour. But where we are now here is we have daylight saving, what's called. So it's 10 o'clock because really,
we don't let man change that time.
It's really the 9 o'clock.
Correct.
So at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 4 o'clock, I stop wherever I am. Driving, shopping, I'll pause and bring my offering.
Yeah,
we
have to acknowledge these times, and we're going to see and read why.
We might at the end just one of us say what we say.
A
little prayer.
Yeah, we might say a little halal, and just so you can see an example and you use your own ruach-led instinct to be able to also bring this same offering yourself to Yahuwah on these hours. So line upon line, precept upon precept.
Let's begin.
Here a little, there a little. Let's begin. Now, last week's episode was commandments and statutes. We read in James chapter 2 that faith without works is dead. So you must have the works of the Torah. These continual ascending offerings we're going to read are indeed works of the Torah. We read in Romans 6, I believe, that the wages of sin, the wages of crime, the wages of not bringing these continual ascending burnt offerings is death. Is dead. So line upon line, precept upon precept. Let's begin. Barak YAHUAH. We're going to start at the start. Barashit, otherwise in common terms known as Genesis, chapter 3, verse 8. First precept, begin. Barak YAHUAH.
All right. And they heard the voice of Yahuwah walking in the garden in the cool of the day.
He was walking in the garden at the cool of the day, an appointed time.
And Adam and his Isha, his wife,
hid
themselves from the presence of Yahuwah, among the trees of the garden.
So they had already transgressed at this point. It was the cool of the day. If you have the discernment of even an ant, you will know when the cool of the day is. It is the afternoon, it is the evening. It is otherwise known as in scripture, and we're going to read as the Maarab offering, the evening offering. Yahuwah was coming at this appointed time to receive offering, and having already transgressed, Adam and Kua were hiding themselves, knowing that it was an appointed time.
They knew, because they knew, this is what you ask, why did they hide themselves? Why? At the cool of the day. Because they knew they already had a time when Yahuwah appeared to them.
An appointed time.
They didn't know that. That's what pointed to Yahuwah's the third hour, him being impaled. And
we're going to see how it
and
lines
also things
up.
that happened
how it lines up
with
beautifully.
them as well.
Yes, of course. 100%. All right, Barak YAHUAH, next precept. Let's keep unraveling this story of continual ascending burnt offerings in which we are to bring every minute of every day to Yahuwah. Genesis 4, chapter 1 to 7. Barashit 4, 1 to 7.
All right, and Adam had known Kua, his Isha, And she conceived and bore Cain.
Yep.
Cain. And said, I have gotten a man from Yahuwah. And she again bore his brother Habal.
Yep, so Cain and Habal, otherwise known as Cain and Abel.
Yes, and Habal was a guardian of sheep.
Yes.
But Cain was a tiller of the ground. Right? And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought from the fruit of the ground an offering to Yahuwah.
Yep, from the fruit of the ground, an offering to Yahuwah.
And Habal also brought of the bakarut, which of his flock,
first fruits, firstborn of the flock,
and of its fat,
The whole. If you know Torah, you know Yahuwah loves fat. He loves burnt fat. This is representative of the sin of the flesh, spiritual fat that is still upon our bodies. None of us are perfect. We are striving for perfection day by day. But this is why we need to come upon Yahuwah's altar, that He may, as a consuming fire, which it is written, He is a consuming fire. He may burn that spiritual fat, and that's what rises up and is a sweet smelling savor to Yahuwah's nostrils. It's no different in these days. Cain brought fruit from the ground. Fruit from the ground which was not able to be burnt as a sweet smelling savor. Habal, being the righteous one, brought firstborn from the flock of his sheep. Pure firstborn, and it had fat to be burnt. We read, and the fat, as we just read, that fat was burnt and it was able to rise up and be a sweet smelling savor acceptable to Yahuwah.
Yeah, he was basically, he disobeyed Yahuwah's command.
Yes.
Because they knew that was the offerings that they brought, animal offerings, because it pointed to Yahusha.
Yes,
right?
it was already Torah at this point.
Cain rejected that.
Yes.
This is where it goes back to the beginning, right?
Yeah.
He rejected that. He said, "No, I'm going to bring. Why do I have to offer animals?
Yeah, I'm going to bring.
That's where
fruit
it started.
instead.
The rejection of pointing to Yahusha's death.
Perfect.
So he rejected. That's why Yahuwah did not accept his offering.
Right? Yeah, because he didn't understand the redemption plan, what it pointed to. Abal did, and he reverenced Yahuwah by bringing this offering.
The next line tells you, and Yahuwah had respect for Habal and his offering.
And his offering.
But to Cain and to his offering, he had no respect.
No respect.
And Cain was very angry, and his face displayed hate.
Hate.
And Yahuwah said to Cain, why are you angered and annoyed? And why is your face displaying here hate?
Yep.
If you do well,
shall
you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, transgression lies in your door.
If you are bringing, sorry, go on.
And its desire is for you, but you should rule over it.
You should rule over the desire of the flesh. The desire of transgression. You shall rule over it. You shall be surely aware of whenever transgression tries to slip into the crack of your door, and you shall rule over it. You shall otherwise understand the difference between a fruit offering, between an offering that is not worthy of rising up to Yahuwah's nostrils, and a sheep offering, a lamb offering, an offering of burnt fat, an offering of ruling over that transgression, that it may rise up to the nostrils of Yahuwah. If you are walking in the way, truth, and life by way of His commandments, statutes, and judgments, spoken of in great detail in our last video, Destination 6. If you are walking in that way, you are bringing that sheep offering, that offering that once pointed to Yahusha, now points back to the redemption that Yahusha has brought us. If you are caught up in transgression, in lust of the flesh, in the idolization of women, of money, of status, etc., then you are bringing that offering of the ground, of fruit, of dust, which is representative, which is cursed. Cursed is the ground, says Yahuwah, which is representative of transgression, of death, of Hasatan. You're either bringing an offering to Hasatan, being in transgression, or you're bringing an offering to Yahuwah, being in the way, truth, and life of our Messiah Yahusha, of His word, of His instructions.
Yeah. So basically, already we see at the beginning, there was a separation.
Greater separation.
There was a distinction.
A distinction.
He who brought an offering that Yahuwah accepted,
Uh-huh.
and he who did not brought a different offering. So there's already two camps, two groups.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
that's already what.
Well said, 100%. Barak YAHUAH, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. We're now going to go to Yublim, which is known as the little Genesis, but we don't use these words little because it rather goes into greater detail of the accounts of Barashit of Genesis. We're going to turn to chapter 16, verse 16 to 26. We now have the clear understanding that Yahuwah required a burnt offering already of his people from the time of Adam and Kua, Cain and Abel. Let's now read a bit further along that proverbial line.
All right. And we returned in the 7th Kodesh month.
The 7th month.
And found Sarah with child before us, and we barakat him, favored him, and we announced to him all the things which had been decreed concerning him.
Yep, the heavenly Malakim. This is Yublim. The heavenly Malakim are speaking in this instance.
That he should not die until he should beget 6 sons more.
Yep.
And should see them before he died.
Yep.
But that in Yitzhak, which is Isaac, should his name and seed Zerah be called.
Isaac is the father of Yaqub. Yaqub, who is now referenced as the 12 tribes of Yasharal.
That's good. And that all the Zerah seed, of his sons should be goyim, strangers.
Yet strangers and shall be scattered across the 4 corners of this earth.
And be reckoned with the strangers, goyim. But from the sons of Yitzhak, Isaac, one should become a kadush.
One shall become separated.
Seed. A kadush seed.
A separated seed.
And should not be reckoned among the
should not be reckoned among the strangers. Separated. Shall be separated kadush unto Yahuwah.
For he should become the portion of the Most High.
The portion of the Most High. His only begotten, his Yakid, his beloved son. The 12 tribes of Yasharal.
And all his seed had fallen into the possession of Yahuwah. That it should be unto Yahuwah a people for his possession above all nations.
Above all nations. Yasharal are above all other nations in Yahuwah's eyes.
And that it should become a Makut, kingdom, and Kohanim, priesthood, and a set-apart nation.
A separated nation. Yep, a priesthood. Right, read that again.
Yeah, that it should become a Makut.
A Malkut, a kingdom.
And Kohanim.
And a priesthood.
And Kadush nation.
And a separated nation. We are a kingdom, a priesthood, and a separated nation unto Yahuwah, being living menorahs, being lights in this world of darkness.
And we went our way, and we announced to Sarah all that we had told him. And they both rejoiced with exceeding great simcha.
Yep, Sarah and Abraham rejoiced in the presence of the Malakim, in the presence of Yahusha, who was one of the Malakim that came down. Yep.
And he built there an altar to Yahuwah.
He built an altar.
To Yahuwah, and who had delivered him, and who was making him rejoice in the land of his sojourning.
Yahuwah was making him rejoice.
And he celebrated a Moab feast of Simcha, of gladness.
A feast of gladness.
In this month, 7 days. Which is Sukkot. Which is Tabernacle.
Indeed. Sukkot, Tabernacle.
So here is near the altar which he had built at the well of the oath. And he built booths for himself. And for his servants. And on this Moab feast. And he, Abraham, was the first to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles on the earth. And during these 7 days, he brought each day to the altar.
7 days. Each day to the altar, he brought
a burnt offering to Yahuwah.
A burnt offering to Yahuwah.
2 oxen, 2 rams, 7 sheep. One he-goat for a crime offering.
That's already a lot of offering.
That he might atone thereby for himself and for his Zerah.
Once it was the blood of these animals that atoned. And now it has been fulfilled that the blood of Yahusha has atoned. It is an everlasting atonement offering for us. A pure atonement offering that no mortal man could ever bring. Yahuwah is Yahusha.
And as a thank offering, 7 rams, 7 kids, 7 sheep, and 7 he-goats, and their fruit offerings and their drink offerings, and he burnt all the fat of it.
Burnt all the fat, all the sin, all the crime of it on the altar.
A chosen offering unto Yahuwah.
A chosen offering unto Yahuwah. Are we not to do the same?
Here's the kicker. For a sweet smelling savor.
A sweet smelling savor.
So that smoke, that incense of that burnt offering rises. As smoke rises, it reaches to Yahuwah. I mean, that's
So
acceptable.
spiritually,
So there you go.
when we come to bring these same offering of 7 rams, of 7 bulls, of 7 he-goats, spiritually now the burnt fat from off of our carnal flesh, our physical bodies of crime, of transgression, of lust, rises up to Yahuwah. And as that fat burns off, we become more and more perfected in his image day by day.
Well, we need to, the example is Yahusha. When Yahusha was impaled, he was an ascending burnt offering. But when he died, fully, he was fully
consumed
ascended
in
because he was
in
perfect.
one because he was perfect.
He was perfect. Us, no. We're imperfect. So it's like we're on a rotisserie. You know, when you put a lamb on a rotisserie and it turns slowly, but each time you turn it, the fire is burning, and that smoke is ascending. That's exactly what we are. Every yom, we bring ourselves as so one day we will be fully consumed.
Prepared.
When we die, we are fully consumed.
Yeah, and prepared for his
Malchut. Ready for Yahuwah's use. All right. Look, okay, verse 24, take note.
Yep.
And morning and evening.
And morning and evening. And Shacryt and Maarab. And 9 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Yeah. He burnt fragrant substances.
Yep.
Frankincense. Galbanum. Stacti, I don't know what these are, but nard, myrrh, spice. All these seven
sweet smelling savors.
He offered crushed, mixed together in equal parts and pure.
Pure.
So Yahuwah has nostrils.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he does.
Smells.
Oh yes, he smells.
All right,
he smells. And if you're not bringing that sweet smelling savor to him, he's waiting there thinking, I thought you were my abad. Yeah. I thought you desire to please me. Why are you not bringing these sweet smelling savors to me at these appointed times?
Exactly. And he celebrated this Mawad during 7 Yamim days,
yes.
rejoicing with all his heart.
With all his heart.
And with all his nafash.
And with all his mind.
He and all those who were in his bayit house, and there was no stranger with him.
There was no stranger with him bringing these strange offerings.
Yeah, nor any that was uncircumcised.
Nor any that was uncircumcised. Now, spiritually uncircumcised in the heart. You have to be walking in the way, truth, and life of our Father for him to accept your offerings. Otherwise, what offerings are you bringing him? You need to pour out your life to him. Give yourself over to him. If you are giving yourself over to him, you are keeping his commandments, statutes, and judgments. A day does not go by where you are not constantly thinking about what is most desirous to my Father Yahuwah. I want to walk in that way. Yahuwah, lead me in that way that is everlasting.
All right, last verse.
And
he Barakat, his creator.
Yep, Barak YAHUAH.
Who had created him in his generation.
Yep.
For he had created him according to his good pleasure.
Yep.
For he knew and perceived that from him would arise the plant of righteousness.
The plant of righteousness.
Who is?
Yahusha.
For the eternal generations, and from him a Kadush seed, so that it should become like him.
Like him.
Who had made all things.
Are we not to be like him, like Yahusha, like the plant of Zarakah, of righteousness? Perfected.
Be perfect.
Be perfect.
So basically we see here, Yahusha said to do the works of Abraham, right?
Yep.
So this is what Abraham did.
Yep.
The only thing is we don't build an altar.
Physically.
We are the altar because
we
are
the
a living temple.
Yes, indeed.
And we bring offerings of praise from our mouth. Walk in righteousness. And
compassion,
they are offerings
love,
of thanksgiving,
self-control,
of
patience,
peace. That's
shalom.
what we bring to Yahuwah.
Yes.
And he accepts them.
And he
as
accepts them.
Abraham did.
As
so nothing's
Abraham
changed.
did.
Only the method of the
Don't O vain man, that faith without works is dead. That simply saying you believe in Yahuwah our Creator, but you're not bringing these continual burnt offerings of works is death. Is the lake of fire. Is not pleasing nor acceptable to Yahuwah. All right, we're going to continue along this wonderful storyline. We're going to skip a couple chapters now to Yublim 18, Jubilees chapter 18, verses 1 through 3.
And Yahuwah said to him, Abraham.
Abraham.
And he said, Behold, here I am.
Behold.
Hinayi.
Hinayi.
In Hebrew, Hinayi means here I am.
Yep.
And he said, take your beloved son whom you love,
Yep.
even Yitzhak,
Take your son Isaac, who you love and cherish with all your heart.
and go unto the high country and offer him on
On
one of the mountains which I will point out to you.
On one of the mountains. Go and take your son whom you have raised and you love with all your heart and offer him. If you love me, if you trust in me, being Yahuwah saying this, you will go and you will do this. You will go and you will bring your beloved son, your son who you love more than any other of your sons, of your two sons. You will go and you will bring him on the altar as a continual burnt offering. You will do whatever it takes to please me.
And he rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took his two young men with him and Yitzhak his son and clave the wood of the burnt offering.
Yeah.
And he went to the place on the third day, and he saw the place afar off.
He rose up early in the morning. Understand the context here. He rose up in preparation for the third hour offering, 9 a.m. Some say that you have to bring these offerings at sunrise. But we just read here that he rose up early in the morning. Morning bakar, meaning that there was already sun beginning to rise. There was already light, mixing of light and darkness in the Yom. And he had to go all the way to the top of the hill. How long would have that taken him? At least 3 hours. Here we get a clear identification that the offering time he rose up to offer his son Yitzhak on the altar as a test from Yahuwah was indeed a 9 a.m., otherwise known as a Shacryt, otherwise known as a morning, otherwise known as a third hour offering.
Oh, that's interesting. I just clicked in my head. It said on the third day.
On the third day.
Which is day of the week is the third day?
Wait.
When is Pasach?
Shilishi?
When is
Tuesday?
Pasach?
Pasach is a Tuesday.
Interesting.
We don't like to use these
but
these
isn't
worldly
that when
terms, but
Yahusha
yes.
kept the Pasach?
Yeah, very interesting.
All right, next precept.
Yes, that Pasach, almost like his son Yitzhak was a representation of that lamb. Perfection, but that you have to give up. You have to be willing to offer your entire life, meaning in Abraham's situation, even his own child to Yahuwah. Now we know that Yahuwah does not require such offerings. It was simply just a test. All right, precept upon precept, line upon line. Here a little, there a little. Continual ascending burnt offerings at the appointed times of 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. being the two burnt offerings, and the midday, otherwise known as the Myncha, being a gift offering, an offering of praise for the gift of Cain.
That's what Myncha means.
Of the marvelous light that Yahuwah, Yahushua HaMashiach has now brought to be within us as beacons of light. Numbers, otherwise known as Bamad Numbers, Bamad chapter 28, verses 1 through to 6.
All right, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, command the children of Yasharal and say to them, my offering and my lakam and my sacrifices made by fire.
Made by fire, an offering made by fire, a continual ascending burnt offering, not made by sieving meat in a pot, but by indeed putting it on the fire for the fat to burn.
That's correct. All right, for a sweet fragrance to me.
A sweet fragrance, it has to rise.
That's correct. So, shall you observe to offer to me in their due time? In their due times,
in their appointed 3 times.
And you shall say to them, this is the offering made by fire which you shall offer to Yahuwah.
Barak YAHUAH.
2 lambs of the first year.
2 lambs of the first year.
Without blemish.
Without blemish, pure.
Day by day. For a continual burnt offering.
For a continual burnt offering. Barak YAHUAH.
The 1 lamb shall you offer in the Shacryt.
In the Shacryt. At 9 a.m. in the morning.
And the other lamb shall you offer at Maarab.
At Maarab in the evening. At 3 p.m.
And a 10th part of an ephah for flour for a grain offering, mingled with the fourth part of a hin of beaten oil.
Yep.
It is a continual burnt offering.
It is a continual burnt offering, meaning it continually burns, even once come at the appointed time of 9 a.m. or of 3 p.m. It continues burning thereafter, just as we continue walking uprightly. We don't simply stop twice or 3 times throughout the day to praise Him and then just get back to doing whatever we like. We are a continual ascending burnt offering.
All right, which was ordained in Mount Sinai.
It was ordained in Mount Sinai.
For a sweet fragrance.
Yep.
An offering made by fire to Yahuwah.
A sweet fragrance, an offering made by fire to Yahuwah.
This is why when you see, Yahuwah said, bring an offering made by fire.
Yeah.
Well, Yahuwah said He is a consuming fire. So he is that fire. He is a fire. That's why when Abraham laid the animal,
burns that fat off us.
Yeah, He came down and as a consuming fire and burnt it.
Wow.
And the incense of that burnt then rises and is acceptable to Him.
When you cook.
So that's what means bring an offering made by fire. So what do? You'll see that all the feasts, and you might note there that also all the flour mingled with the grain offering. Why is that? That comes, where does that all come from? The earth. The earth. So everything
soil
that comes like us, we are made of dust, we come from the earth. So Yahuwah wants to accept things that are made from the ground, from the earth. And that's what means an offering made by fire.
Exactly.
And you'll notice the feasts, especially so every day they had to bring a lamb in the morning and the evening. See, on the Sabbath, what did they bring? If you study this in Numbers, 2 lambs in the morning, 2 lambs in the evening. So you double
portion.
So you ask double. So Yahuwah double the fire that comes upon me.
So
that double the incense rises on the Sabbath
and
day.
Is a sweet smell.
And then you'll notice that
an
especially
appointed day and an appointed time.
And especially tabernacles. If you read how many offerings they brought. 70 lambs, 70 bullocks, enormous amount. Why? Because Yahuwah's showing you how important
the importance of that burnt fat.
That feast is.
And the feast.
All right, I'll move on.
All right, Barak YAHUAH. Side note that if you cook meat on a skillet or on a pan, and you have that nice little side cap of fat, right? Which obviously we do not eat. Yahuwah said not to eat the fat, but you can cook it with it, and it makes for a nice, juicy tasting steak. But not just that. That fat burns off. It burns off and it rises up. Whenever you're cooking meat and that fat's burning, does it not smell good like a sweet savor? This is no different to the sweet smelling savors we are to bring Yahuwah from a spiritual perspective. We're now going to get into Tahalim, Psalms. The whole of Psalms is just a continual burnt offering. It's all offerings of praise by the bulls of our lips to Yahuwah. Psalm 69 verse 30 to 31. Read.
I will praise Halal, the name of Yahuwah.
Hallelujah, Yahuwah.
With a song. And will magnify Him with thanks.
Will magnify Him with thanks. Just as Abraham did.
This also shall please Yahuwah better than an ox.
It shall please Yahuwah better than an ox.
Or bullock.
That
has horns and hoofs.
That has horns and hoofs.
Simple.
If you don't understand the context here, maybe go back to the start of this video and rewatch it again. We are now to bring offerings of praise, offering of thanks, offering of songs of praise to Yahuwah. Hallelujah, Yahuwah, Barak YAHUAH, Tada Yahuwah, meaning thank you, Yahuwah, for all in which you barakas with, all in which you provide us with and bring as gifts. This is better than a bullock. This is better than a ram. This is a sweet smelling savor spiritually to Yahuwah.
That's correct.
All right. Let's now go to a prophet, a Nabi, known by the name of Daniel, which you should all be familiar with. We're going to now read that in chapter 6, verse 10. He came to bring these offerings at the appointed times as well.
Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his bayit.
He went into his house,
and his windows,
a private place.
And his windows being open in his room.
His windows being open
toward Jerusalem. He kneeled upon his knees.
Side note, we don't know where Jerusalem is in this day and age, so that is not required of us.
3 times a day.
3 times a day. He kneeled upon his knees in the confines of his bayit. in the confines of representation of the Bayit of Yahuwah that we now each dwell in. He kneeled, and 3 times a day. We can only assume using the discernment that Yahuwah's Ruach HaKadosh, his separated breath, gives us reading this word, that those 3 times were indeed the same times that Adam and Kua came to bring these offerings. They were the same times that Abraham, Musha, that Yasharal brought these offerings. Daniel, having learned from that same Torah that we have learned from. 3 times a day, 9 a.m. being the 3rd hour, 12 being the 6th, and 3 being the 9th hour.
Perfect, yes. Upon his knees 3 times a day, and made tefillah.
Yep, he made prayer.
And gave hodu.
And gave thanks as a burnt offering.
Before his Yahuwah, as he did before. As
it's a routine to do every single Yom, every single day. Barak YAHUAH. Barak YAHUAH.
Right.
Wow, this is a wonderful storyline, a wonderful, almost so far chronological storyline of how we are from the very beginning to the very end, the very everlasting, to bring continual ascending burnt offerings to Yahuwah, with the tikva, with the hope that the day will come where we are fully consumed. We put off this lustful flesh that profits nothing, and we are brought to a mighty stature, resemblance of in resemblance of Yahusha, in representation of Yahusha, looking like what Yahuwah looks like in a world that is everlasting, in an earth that is everlasting, far greater than what we see with our eyes in this earth today, which already is beautiful, the creation in barakas us with. All right, we're going to now refer back to Tahalim, to Psalms 55, verses 16 to 17.
As for me, I will call upon Yahuwah.
As for me, as for us, as for we will call upon Yahuwah.
And Yahuwah shall redeem me.
Oh yes, he shall.
At Shacryt.
At Shacryt, in the morning at 9 a.m. when I come to bring offering.
And Myncha.
And Myncha, being 12 p.m. when I give offerings of praise, being the 6th hour.
And at Maarab.
And at Maarab, at 3 p.m. And on the 9th hour.
Will I make tefillah and cry aloud?
Cry aloud.
And he shall listen to my voice.
And he shall listen to my voice. He shall accept that sweet smelling savor. 3 times a day, Shacryt, Myncha, and Maarab.
So this was
there it is.
King David.
This was King David, sovereign David, bringing these offerings, having the dart given by Yahuwah of what is to come, being Yahusha's impalement, which was orchestrated at these appointed times we're about to read. Right now in Mark, otherwise known as Marcus, chapter 15. Mark chapter 15, there's a few precepts here, there's a few verses. We're going to start at verse 25.
And it was 9 o'clock in the morning.
It was 9 o'clock in the morning. It was the 3rd hour. How can it get any more straightforward than that?
And they impaled him.
And they impaled him.
All right,
and they impaled him. Now we're going to skip to verse 33. Impaled at 9 in the morning, at the appointed time.
And when 12 noon had come,
as a perfect offering. And when 12 noon had come,
there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour.
There was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour, representing, showing us the power of Yahuwah, of Yahusha, as a marvelous light that lights up the alarm, showing the...
There's always darkness before the light.
Exactly.
That's what it represents. Like as when the earth was created, there was darkness already here, and then the light came. So it represents that there will be darkness in the world.
Yep.
And then on Yahusha's death, he's that light that we now can rise up with him as well.
Indeed. There's always a presence of one or the other, of light or darkness. They cannot comprehend each other. They cannot mix. It's either light or darkness. There was light coming up to this 3rd hour that he was impaled upon the tree. The 6th hour, there was light, being Yahusha, being that light, Yahuwah being that light, as he's spoken of in Malachi, the 4th chapter, as the son of Zarakah, spelt S-U-N, because the sun, the Shamash, is a representation of the marvelous light of Yahuwah. There was light coming up to this 3rd hour of his impalement, this 6th hour of the day. And when the 6th hour hit, the light was taken away, the darkness enveloped, representing Yahusha being for the moment taken away from the olam, for the moment being taken away, for that light that was taken now being entered into each of his children, each of his kadoshim, each of his separated people, us. We now hold that light that was taken away on the 6th hour of the day when Yahusha was impaled. And now we're going to skip. We're going to continue on 34 to 37.
And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yahusha cried with a loud voice.
Yahusha
saying,
cried with a loud voice.
Eli Yahuwah, Eli
Al
Yahuwah,
Yahuwah, Al Yahuwah.
Lamana azabtani.
Yep, meaning,
Which means, my Yahuwah,
My Yahuwah, my Yahuwah.
Yahuwah, why are you keeping me waiting so long?
why are you keeping me waiting so long?
You might, I'll just add a note that
Yep.
in some of the
Yep.
scriptures,
Yep.
it says, why have you forsaken me?
Or is that wrong?
Yahuwah never forsakes.
How can Yahuwah forsake
Never forsakes. So
himself,
that's wrong.
let alone his other people, his children?
So
No,
the
wrong.
correct wording is that, why are you keeping me waiting
Why
so
are you
long?
keeping me waiting so long?
Because he knew that his end was to die. and to
Yep.
death.
Yep.
So he didn't
Yep.
forsake him. He just asked why so long.
Yeah, so this is the appointed time of 3 p.m. That we remember, that we acknowledge that Yahusha, as we're about to read, gave up his breath. He became that perfect, pure offering, bringing us into everlasting life. That we may now, having been impaled with him, also rise with him, also yield up our old breath and be brought forth the very breath that he yielded up here, a breath of purity, a breath that is everlasting, of his own breath, the breath of Yahuwah.
And some of them stood by when they heard it, and see, he calls for Eliyahu. And one ran and filled a sponge full of vinegar and put on it a reed and gave him to drink, saying, leave him alone, let us see whether Eliyahu will come to take him down. And Yahusha cried with a loud voice and gave up the ruach.
And Yahusha cried with a loud voice and brought that perfect offering of redemption. He cried with a loud voice and he gave up his ruach. Are we not to spiritually do the same, especially on this hour, the 9th hour of the Yom, 3 p.m., the third offering of the day? Are we not to
remember?
Are we not to remember and acknowledge
what he
this?
did for us.
And also in representation of such, do we not give up our life? We pour up our life to him. We pour up our old ruach of transgression, ask that Yahuwah burn that spiritual fat, that it rises up to him, that we be increased with his breath, his ruach HaKadosh, his separated breath. This is all a perfect orchestration and a perfect representation of exactly what we are to do in these end times. In these end times. All right, Barak YAHUAH, Barak YAHUAH. We're now going to see how the beginning matches. It perfectly matches this orchestration that Yahuwah brought us through Yahusha, through his impalement. The appointed times match perfectly. This was all a foreshadowing from the beginning to Yahusha's impalement. Now to us to bring these offerings, for us to pour out our life as Yahusha poured out his life on the 9th hour. This is an excerpt from the first book. It's known as this is an apocryphal book, a hidden book found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The first book of Adam and Kuah, or who you may know as Adam and Eve. The first book of Adam and Kuah. It's pretty much a more detailed account. Using the discernment that Yahuwah brings us, we have found it to be quite accurate. Or you can just feel that it's quite correct in its accounts, in its chronological timing, etc.
Goes in more detail.
It just goes into more detail, just like Jubilees goes into more detail of Genesis, just like Jasher does the same for the Tanakh. Now, we're going to read in chapter 34, I believe, how these timings of Yahusha's impalement on the 3rd hour, the sky turning to darkness on the 6th hour, and him yielding up his ruach on the 9th hour, representative of him bringing us into an everlasting covenant, pouring out his blood. We're going to read how that lines up with the transgression, with the whole storyline, rather, of Adam and Kuah in the garden at the beginning of time. 34 verse 5, read.
Then you spread your hand and created me out of one element.
This is Adam talking to Yahuwah, bringing an offering.
that of dust of the earth.
Dust of the earth.
And you brought me into the garden at the third hour.
You brought me into the garden, says Adam, at the third hour, an appointed time, a special time that Adam was brought into Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden.
On a sixth day, which is...
On a sixth day, which is a preparation yom before the Shabbat, on the seventh yom.
And informed me of it in the cave.
Yep. So he was made known. He was made known of the timing of these events. So we've got now the third hour was when Adam was brought into the garden. We now continue to read in chapter 37, verses 4 to 5.
All right. But Adam began to pray to Yahuwah and to beseech him to give him of the fruit of the tree of life, saying thus, O Yahuwah, when we transgressed your commandment at the sixth hour.
When we transgressed your commandment at the sixth hour. When the sky turned to darkness, when Yahusha was impaled upon the tree at the sixth hour. Sky turning to darkness, representative of sin, of transgression taking over the world, is the same time that Adam and Kua transgressed. That Adam transgressed on the sixth hour. Is this not all perfectly aligned? How could you think anything different?
Right, I continue. We were stripped of the bright nature we had.
Yep.
And did not continue in the garden after our transgression.
Yep.
More than 3 hours.
More than 3 hours from when they transgressed, they did not continue in the garden and were stripped.
But in the evening, you made us come out of it.
In the evening, you made us come out of it. The same wording being used for the offerings, morning and evening. If morning here is representative of 9 a.m., we know evening is representative of 3 p.m., of the 9th hour.
Yeah. So there you go. See, if you go to the beginning, already, that's what the 3, the 6, and the 9 represent. They point.
Exactly.
It's just wonderful. 3, 6, 9 are wonderful. So Yahuwah's left us all these clues.
If you haven't read this wonderful book, the first book of Adam and Kua, we strongly recommend it. It's easily accessible on Amazon for a pretty...
You can look it up and download
pretty
the PDF.
Cheap, for lack of a better word, price. You can buy it. Or you can even download the PDF.
What I like about this book,
the
most important thing that I like is when Yahuwah was speaking with Adam after they transgressed. Yahuwah said to Adam, I myself will come down and be an offering to redeem you.
We could have put that
to redeem you. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
So that kills...
Pointing to Yahuwah being Yahusha.
That kills the doctrine that there are two. Yahuwah and Yahusha.
Ridiculous.
No, Yahuwah is Yahusha. No. He is the one that came and took our place.
It's Torah.
He's our Redeemer.
Man cannot redeem man.
Yeah, if you read
Yahusha was not man. He was in the likeness, in the image of man, but in his own flesh and blood.
All right, let's move on.
Barak YAHUAH, being a pure offering. Barak YAHUAH. And Shabbat Shalom to you. To all 12 tribes, whether you're Yehuda, his covenant-keeping people, or Ephraim, perhaps coming across this video as a way of Yahuwah bringing you closer to him, because indeed his sheep hear his voice and another voice they will not follow. So if you are in that action of striving to walk uprightly, have a look into this stuff for yourself. We are but beacons. We are but vessels. This is not our opinion. This is the word bringing us such wonderful alignment, restoring to us the ancient path in accordance with Yaram Yahu, Jeremiah 6:16, by way of making us now aware of his appointed time, something that is important to Yahuwah. Yahuwah comes, proverbially, spiritually, he comes down and waits for us to bring those offerings, just as he came in the cool of the day to Adam and Kua. No different. Rumaim, our next precept, Rumaim. We love the book of Romans by Apostle Shaul, Shaliach Shaul. Rumaim chapter 5 verses 1 to 9. This is the continual ascending burnt offerings that we are to bring Yahuwah day by day. Therefore,
being justified by amunah,
being justified by unbreakable trust, by faith, for lack of a better word.
We have shalom with Yahuwah through our Redeemer Yahushua Mashiach.
We have shalom with Yahuwah through our Redeemer Yahushua HaMashiach, who gave up his breath on the 9th hour.
Right. By whom also we have access by this amunah into this unmerited favor in which we stand.
We now have access into unmerited favor by that offering.
Yeah. And rejoice in the tikvah, the hope of the tiferet, of the esteem of Yahuwah.
Yep.
And not only so, but we esteem in tribulations also.
We esteem in tribulations also.
that knowing that tribulation works patience.
Yep.
And patience experience.
Yep.
And experience hope.
Yep, exactly. So the tribulation that comes across our paths here and there, as we all either have or may indeed experience tribulation in these end times, where we will indeed be tested to see are we standing firm to Yahuwah? Are we wrapping that belt of unbreakable trust around us to a tight degree? That same tribulation is a burnt offering, is a continual ascending offering, because we are standing firm. We are standing firm, trusting in our Creator that He will deliver us through such tribulation.
And tikva makes us bold because the ahava of Yahuwah is shed abroad in our hearts by the Ruach HaKadosh that is given to us.
Hope makes us bold.
For when we were yet without strength, in due time Mashiach died for the unrighteous.
He died for the unrighteous, that we may turn from the wicked path and burn that spiritual fat.
Hardly for a wicked man would one die.
Yep.
Yet maybe for a tub man.
Maybe for a good man.
Some
would
even dare to die. But Yahuwah manifested His love towards us. In that while we were yet transgressors,
while we were still transgressors,
Mashiach died for us.
Yahusha gave up His breath as the perfect offering to us.
Much more then, being made righteous by His blood, we shall be redeemed from wrath through Him.
But we have been made righteous by the blood in which He has spilled. He has ratified us into an everlasting covenant, that now, by having the circumcision of the heart, by walking uprightly in the word He's given us, the instructions He's given us, we may now be redeemed to everlasting life. We may have that hope that makes us bold. We know that if Yahuwah rather, as Yahusha, came and died for us while we were still in transgression, how much greater could His rakamim be towards those who have turned from that transgression and now walk upon that path of righteousness? Barak YAHUAH. That's why we bring these offerings. We don't bring the offerings hoping, I've got to do this every day, otherwise I won't be sealed. That's not why we bring the offerings. We bring the offerings because we have been redeemed. We have been redeemed. We have been redeemed, and now desire to the smallest degree pay back and please Yahuwah. We could never truly pay Him back. But we can only give up and pour up our entire lives to Him as even the slightest of a repayment, knowing that He's redeemed us to be His children, His separated nation, as we read earlier in this video. We're now going to, again, relate back to the whole book of ascending burnt offerings, otherwise known as Tahalim, otherwise known as Psalms. 51, the 51st chapter, verses 17 and 19.
Seeing you hate Torah and cast my words behind you. When you saw a thief, then you were pleased with him, and have been partakers with adulterers.
Partakers with adulterers. That's that same fruit offering, that same unrighteous offering as Cain.
You gave your mouth to evil, and your tongue creates deceit.
Just exactly as Cain did in juxtaposition, opposing to what Abel did, to what Habal did. Habal brought an offering of righteousness, trusting in Yahuwah, loving Yahuwah. Cain brought an adulterous offering of deceit, having been deceived by Hashatan, as you also read in the first book of Adam and Kua, bringing an offering of hate, as it's written. All right. So we're now gonna we've started at the beginning. We're going to finish with the end, or rather with the everlasting, the book of Hazun, the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach that was brought to Yahukanon. Right? So we're now going to wrap up and see the beautiful representation of just where that continual ascending burnt offering can lead you. And where if you're not bringing an offering, but instead you're even bringing an offering of crime to Hasatan, where that will, in reflection, lead you. light or darkness, an offering to Yahuwah or an offering to Hashatan, an offering at the appointed times, or not taking heed to these appointed times and thinking it doesn't matter as long as I believe or whatever you think. All right, we're now going to kill that whole false doctrine that was created by man, that was created by Catholics, that was created by the Roman Circuit, the church, who does not make a distinction between the clean and the unclean, between light and darkness, between Yahuwah and Hasatan. Revelation, Tzyun, chapter 3, verse 7 to 22. Barak YAHUAH.
And to the teaching overseer of the congregation in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, the ones found without fault, Yehuda is covenant-keeping people.
Right. These things say, he that is Kadush, he that is Amat, he that has the key of David, he that opens and no man shuts, and shuts and no man opens.
Yahushua HaMashiach.
I know your works. See, I have set before you an open door, and no man can shut it.
No man can take away from you your continual ascending burnt offering, you pouring up your life to Yahushua, if you truly believe, if you truly stand firm.
For you have little strength, but have kept my word, and have not denied my name.
You have kept my word and have not denied my name. You have little strength because you have poured out your life to him.
See, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, who say they are Yahudim and are not.
Who say they give ascending burnt offerings, but do not. Or give it indeed to Hasatan instead.
But do lie.
Yep.
See, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you.
Yep.
Because you have kept the word of my endurance. I also will shomer, which is God, you in the hour of testing.
He will guard us in the hour of testing because we have continually brought these ascending burnt offerings.
Which shall come upon all of the world.
All of the world.
To test them that dwell in the earth.
Yep.
See, I come quickly. Hold fast to what you have.
Hold fast to that which you have.
That no man takes your
That no man takes your crown. That no man takes your truth. That no man stop you from bringing these continual ascending burnt offerings to Yahuwah. This is why we have to really home in, for lack of a better word, on not being people pleasers, on not fearing man over Yahuwah, because when at the moment that you choose to please man over pleasing Yahuwah, when you're faced with these many crossroads, for instance, having to defile the Shabbat, for instance, or that's just an example. There's many other different examples. Maybe having a B-day party on the Shabbat, and it's your own brother or sisters, and you have no choice but to go. When you make that choice to fear man over fearing Yahuwah, you are breaking the cycle of that continual ascending burnt offering. And instead you are bringing a Cain offering to Hasatan, because you have walked away from the light and walked into the darkness. That's why we in this season, in this Moad, in this time of preparation for Yahushua HaMashiach's return, for Yahuwah's return, we in this time have to stand so firm that we are just on that straight and narrow path, our eyes set on Tzyun, destination Tzyun, and nothing else, on bringing those continual ascending burnt offerings and nothing else, and not veering left or right off that path. Barak YAHUAH.
It's a long chapter. Him that overcomes will I make a pillar in the Mishkan temple.
There we go. Him that overcomes. Just what we said.
He shall go out no more. And I will write upon him the name of my Lua and the name of the city of my Lua, which is the new Yerushalayim.
Yahuwah and New Yerushalayim is our gift for bringing these burnt offerings.
Which comes down out of the Shamayim from my Alua.
Down out of the Shamayim.
And I will write upon him my new name.
My new name. Yahusha HaZarakah. Yahuwah HaZarakah. Yahuwah of righteousness. We see in Malachi, the 4th chapter, the Son of righteousness. That's a physical example we now have. We will then get the eternal example of Yahuwah of righteousness.
So he that has an ear, let him hear what the Ruach says to the
hear what the Ruach says.
Yasharite congregation. And to the teaching overseer of the congregation of Laodicea. These things says the Amen, the only truthful and true witness.
The only truthful and true witness.
The first cause of all the creation of
Yahushua HaMashiach.
That's right. I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I desire that you were cold or hot. So then, because you are lukewarm and are neither cold nor hot, I will vomit you out because you could be giving an offering to me, but instead of giving that offering to Hasatan, you are lukewarm. I will vomit you out. I would rather, says Yahuwah, that you were giving no offering at all.
If you're lukewarm, if you're caught up in the circuit, otherwise known as the Roman Church, you indeed are lukewarm. You are giving an offering to Hasatan.
Because you say, I am rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing, and know not that you are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked.
Yep.
I counsel you to buy from me and gold tried in the fire, that you may be rich, and white raiment that you may be clothed,
Yep,
so that the shame of your nakedness does not appear, and anoint your eyes with ointment that you may see.
That you may see.
As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and make teshuvah.
Be zealous, therefore, and make teshuvah. Be bold in giving up your entire life to Yahuwah. That is true teshuvah. Turning from the wicked path and turning to a path, the ancient path, in accordance with Yirmiyahu 6:16, that is everlasting.
See, I stand at the door and knock.
Yep,
if any man hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and will dine with him, and he with me.
He is waiting for us, just as he was waiting for Adam and Kua in the cool of the evening. He is waiting for us to bring him those continual ascending burnt offerings. The moment we do, the moment his Ruach HaKadosh, his separated breath, dwells within us.
To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my kaseh.
Yep, to him that overcomes tribulation, that makes us bold.
Even as I also overcame, have sat down with my Abba on his kaseh.
Yep, even as Yahusha
He
overcame.
that has an ear, let him hear.
He that has an ear, let him hear.
What the Ruach says to the Yisraelite congregations.
What the Ruach says to the Yasharim congregations, representative of all 12 tribes of Yasharal.
Final one.
All right. So we are now given the very strong foundation that to overcome, to him that overcomes, it is to bring a continual ascending burnt offering of walking uprightly in example of our Messiah Yahusha, in example of the Torah instructions, in example of the 10 commandments, of keeping our temples clean, eating clean foods, not eating unclean, making the distinction between clean and unclean, and walking in the way that is clean, in the way of the light, bringing offerings to Yahusha. Being hot, not being cold, bringing no offerings, and not being lukewarm, which is even worse, bringing offerings to Satan on these appointed times. Bringing offerings to Yahuwah, Al Shaddai, the Almighty, on these appointed times is to indeed overcome the bonds of evil, of Hasatan, the bonds of death, the wages of sin that are death.
Here's
Revelation,
our concluding text.
Hazun, chapter 14, our closing text, chapter 1 to 5. Who are these people that poured up their lives? Who are these people that come as continual ascending burnt offerings to Yahuwah, to Yahusha in this season, in this Moed of sealing?
And I looked and saw.
Yes.
A lamb stood on Mount Zion.
Yahusha HaMashiach stood on his separated mountain.
And with him 144,000 Yisraelites.
The tribe of Yehuda, 144,000, all bringing continual ascending burnt offerings of spiritual fat, being perfected in the furnace of adversity.
And having his name and his Abba's name written on their foreheads.
On their foreheads.
And I heard a voice from the Shamayim as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder.
Oh, Barak YAHUAH.
And I heard the voice of harpers playing with their harps.
Yep.
And they sang as it were a new song.
A new song.
Before the throne and before the four creatures and before the elders. And that no man could learn that song.
No man could learn that song but the 144,000.
Who were redeemed from the earth.
Who were redeemed from the earth. A new song. A new song. If you get the context with what we read in Tahalim, in Psalms earlier, this is a new offering. A new offering. An everlasting offering.
These are those who were not defiled with women.
Yep, not defiled with women.
For they are virgins.
They are spiritual virgins.
These are those who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men.
Redeemed from among men.
Being the Bakarim.
Being the first fruits.
To Yahuwah and to the Lamb.
To Yahuwah and to the Lamb. Just as Habal, just as Abel gave the righteous offering of the firstborn of the flock of his sheep, we are the righteous offerings of the firstborn of Yahuwah, of Yahusha. Yasharal being the son of being the son of Yishak, who is the son of Abraham, the righteous seed that is given a seed that is everlasting. Barak YAHUAH.
And in their mouth was found no God, for they are without fault.
They are without fault
the throne.
Before the throne. They are not giving even an inkling of lukewarm offering to Hasatan, but all their offering, all their burnt spiritual fat goes straight up to Yahuwah, who sits in his on his kasai, on his throne in the seventh Shamayim.
Barak YAHUAH.
Barak YAHUAH. Barak YAHUAH. Barak YAHUAH. We now come to the conclusion of this Destination Tzyun, part 7. Part 7, continual ascending burnt offerings. We are to pour out our life to our Father by way of walking uprightly in accordance with the last part we did, walking in his commandments and statutes. We are to pour out his life. We are to pour out our life just as he poured out his life for us on the 9th hour. In being impaled on the 3rd hour, sky turning to darkness on the 6th hour, and yielding up his breath on the 9th hour. We now bring offerings of acknowledgement of that and of praise, of Hadu, being of thanksgiving to him on these same hours. Knowing that those are the appointed times, but out of those appointed times, our offerings are still burning. We are continually burning. Right now we are burning.
Yeah, if to take away from this teaching, basically, if you're not doing it now, this is what I did. I set my alarm on my watch.
Yeah, if you get one takeaway from this teaching.
At 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock.
This is the action
so
you
for
need
a
to
while,
be taking.
till your alarm goes off, you pause and you stop and just bring praises to Yahuwah. And what I usually say, and Alex does, we say this when we're Palaling, we say, Yahuwah, we come under your altar at this hour and bring ourselves as continual ascending burnt offerings, where we ask your Ruach to come upon us as a consuming fire, for you are a consuming fire. Come upon us, burn the spiritual fat that is upon us, Yahuwah, that the incense of the burnt offering rises and reaches your nostrils and is a sweet smelling savor to you. I actually say that.
Pleasing and acceptable.
That's how we
in his,
pray. And then you bring whatever offering to Yahuwah. You thank him.
You acknowledge that on the self-same hour.
Because you are coming to him at an appointed time. It's like the beginning of the feasts and of the Sabbath. These were first.
Appointed times.
The Sabbath was.
And
then, so do that and just keep doing that, and after a while you will know the Ruach will pause you every time when you are. Now I don't use my watch anymore.
You don't even need a
doing
watch
it for many years, and it's beautiful to stop wherever you are. Just pause. Even just pause and say, Yahuwah, come and bring.
The Ruach will come to show you how important these continual appointed offerings are.
It also reminds us of what Yahusha did every day.
That's what I was going to say. So if
that's
you're bringing offering on the 3rd hour, you acknowledge on the 3rd hour he was impaled upon the tree. The creator of all things, Yahuwah, manifested in the likeness of man, but in his own flesh and blood as Yahushua HaMashiach, being impaled, we now come to be impaled with him. On the 9th hour, when his breath was yielded up, when he cried with a loud voice, when he shed his redemptive dam, that represents the everlasting covenant we are now engrafted back into, just as the menorah is a representation of the branches being grafted back into Hanatzah, the middle branch being Yahushua HaMashiach.
Even now we're going to have the Sabbath meal.
That
in itself, our gathering is an ascending offering to Yahuwah. Even that. So that's why 100%. We delight and enjoy sitting at the table, enjoying to eat bread and some nice food.
And rejoice.
And drink some wine and rejoice. That is an ascending burnt offering to you. Make it everything. Make it all. There's a verse that says all that you do, do for Yahuwah.
Be hot, be not lukewarm.
Exactly.
If you're lukewarm, I'd prefer you were cold. Bring those full burnt offerings, those hot, sweet smelling savors of spiritual fat to Yahuwah in this day. Barak YAHUAH. We now invite you to gird yourself with the full spiritual armor of Yahuwah as this video comes to an end. As perhaps you will take this teaching and make it your own truth to be fastened around your loins, around as a belt of a mut. So may Yahuwah gird each of you and all of us, all 12 tribes of Yasharal, with that helmet of redemption, that breastplate of righteousness, the loins girt about with the belt of Amat, being the belt of truth, the feet shod with the Zadak, with the righteous good news of Shalom. In the left hand, above all else, as Shaul says, holding the shield of Amunah, the shield of faith, the shield of unbreakable trust, the shield of works that back up the faith. In the right hand, the sword, the Ruach HaKadosh, which is the Dabar, which is the word of Yahuwah. We claim the promises that Yahuwah himself promised He would keep. A promise of everlasting life, a promise of redemption that has been fulfilled, that we now acknowledge on the 3rd, 6th, and 9th hour. May Yahuwah cause his face to shine upon you. May Yahuwah, by the power of his right hand, lift up that veil of deceit from each of those seeking him in this season. If you are one of those, may you continue striving uprightly in accordance with the way, truth, and life of our Father Yahuwah, of our Messiah Yahushua HaMashiach, being diligent in his word, giving ministry to the word by being a beacon of light unto those around you. Shabbat Shalom, and until the next one. Barak YAHUAH. Shalom, shalom.